Good evening and welcome to this session of the live learning classes conducted by the Board of Studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It's nice to be here and it's really great that some of you have sort of sacrificed a Sunday evening to be here to learn company law. So we have Mohammed Sohail again asking me how I am. Just by seeing me, you should know I'm all right. And so others also there. Gunjan Devi is there. Madhav Tiwari, Neha Harge, Hardik, Ajay, Karthik is there. Very good. Welcome, sir. And Shantika, Komal Prajapati, Surendran R. Great. Divya Kumari, wonderful. All of you here. Ekta just joined. Okay, more people. Kadambari Bhatt, Swati Pandey. Great. Nice to see all of you. Nagaraju, welcome, sir. And Rituraj Honmane, wow. Manohar Yadav and Tushar Roy. Great. So all of you are here. And let me again begin with a brief invocation. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karvavahay, tejasvinavadhitamastu, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvisavahay, ma vidvisavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Beautiful. It's nice to start a new topic today, share capital and debentures. But before I can get into share capital and debentures, some of you had asked certain questions yesterday. So it is my duty to respond to these questions and give you my clarifications, which I will do. So that before we start, I will give you my answers for some questions that I did not. Regarding that 447 up to, that's okay. I will change if you want. Otherwise, it's okay. Because what we are seeing is a limit. So there's a lower limit and a upper limit. That's all. Doesn't matter. I'm not very particular about that. Chalo. One of you had asked me about specified securities and also about some 25% and all that. Now, first point is, okay, Manish, good. You are seeing me for the live class. Great. So always you've been seeing the video. Okay, good. Now, see, I don't know if there is any confusion but for the student who asked this question. Please do not confuse this 25% with minimum subscription. I hope you have not. I think you are only linking it with minimum application amount. Now, all you need to understand, it's clearly a boxed item in page 3.38 of your Board of Studies material. Maybe that is what you feel that I have not mentioned it. I will not, because it is SEBI. See it. Then Companies Act very clearly gives 5% of the nominal amount of the security. Okay. Or such other percentage or amount as specified by SEBI. Now, SEBI has prescribed 25%. SEBI has prescribed 25% of the issue price. Whereas in Companies Act, it is 5% of the nominal amount only for specified securities. So when you are issuing shares, say for example, the price is 100 rupees, 10 rupees share, 90 rupees premium, then minimum amount to be collected on application is 25% of the issue price for specified securities. Now, specified securities are defined both in Companies Act and in SEBI. SEBI definition is very clear. For SEBI definition, specified securities include equity shares, convertible shares, any securities which are converted into equity, either debenture or preference share, if it is convertible into equity. And for purpose of SEBI, this is specified security. They also include employee stock options. Employee stock options are included in specified securities. So for whenever you are making a public issue of these securities, you will be guided by SEBI. So there SEBI very clearly says the amount to be received on application is 25% of the issue price. I think this is what the student was asking me in the last class. So now I have clarified it. And thank you for bringing this up, my dear friend. So this has nothing to do with minimum subscription. It is about minimum amount to be paid on application. So SEBI has prescribed a higher amount. 25% of the issue price. That's it. So that will be applicable since they are saying this or that. So SEBI will be applicable. And so that is clear. So somebody I'm not able to remember who asked which question. Somebody wanted me to cover dematerialization, that recent circular which makes it compulsory for private limited. Nothing great. It was already compulsory for public. Now for private also. We will see it, as I told that person, we will see it today when I am teaching dematerialization of shares. 41 was already covered yesterday by me. Now 41 and the specified security thing, I will include it in my PPT. And tomorrow, please note it, this the PowerPoint presentation for prospectus and allotment of securities will be uploaded tomorrow. Okay, not today. It is. If you find that it has not been uploaded, don't get tense. It has not been uploaded. And sorry about that. Okay. Now, you know what I'm doing? I'm keeping your Board of Studies material open in front of me. Reason is, many of you are religiously following the Board of Studies material while attending my class. So many of you are asking me questions simultaneously after looking at the material. So I am unable to relate to it, and sometimes I behave like a Buddha, giving some stupid answers and all. So I have decided that I will also follow the same logic of keeping the Board of Studies material open in front of me. So if at all you are asking, anything, for example, if you feel something I have not covered in my slide, but it is there in the BOS material, or something is there in the BOS material different from what I am showing in the slide, something. You just, when you're asking that doubt now, instead of only asking the doubt, you also put ref dot refer. You give the page number of this material. I am now in chapter 4, share capital and debentures, right? So we are now moving to share capital and debentures. I'm just keeping it so that it will be easier for me to do it. So this chapter is a very lengthy chapter. Okay. And it covers possibly something very, very important. The whole point and purpose of the Companies Act is to enable formation of companies with limited liability for the members. The whole point and purpose of the Companies Act, 1956, 2013, whatever, is to enable the formation of companies with limited liability for members. See, the members' liability is limited. Why is it so? So that such companies can raise funds from the public by issuing shares, so that people can apply for shares and they can invest small amounts in the share capital of the company. Therefore, this chapter, which deals with the rules and regulations dealing with share capital and debentures, is possibly the core of the subject. Everything working around it, this is the core of the subject. How to raise funds, what are the rules? How to raise, we've seen in prospectus. Once the shares are allotted, the shares come into existence. So what are the types of shares? What are the voting rights? How the share can be transferred, etc., etc. What can you do with different types of alterations and all that we can see. Okay. Now, this topic has, as I told you, 43 to 70. Maybe in terms of section numbers, it's not very huge, but in terms of content of sections, it is pretty huge. Some of these sections are pretty long, and they have corresponding rules are also there, wherever relevant and important and covered in both BOS material, and where I think it's relevant, I am covering it here. This again is divided into two parts. Main bulk of it is about shares, share capital, and one section deals with issue of debentures. Rules are also there for that. Now, normally, if I were teaching in a classroom, I would be using a board, a white board or a black board, and I will be drawing this diagram there. So now since I'm in online mode, I've done it on a paper, and I have written it in my own hands and then taken a photograph and put it here. Basically, what you see here See, what you are able to see is a shape. This shape is a representation of the capital of a sole proprietor. See, if you go look at the balance sheet of a sole proprietor, look at the capital, it will not be a fixed amount. It will be nebulous, means continuously shifting, changing, shapeless, constantly changing. It will be like an amoeba, no shape, nothing. Because it will be continuously, then see, opening capital, then current year's profit will be added, minus drawings, all sorts of activities, so that it will be continuously changing. 1. 2, the proprietor may take the entire capital out, in which case drawings may be more than the capital also. Negative capital also possible for proprietary. Right. Moving on to partnership, things do not change in a big way. Why? Because the capital of a partnership is similar. It is also shapeless. But the only difference is it is divided between the partners. So the partners have a sharing ratio of profits. Then there might be different drawings. So and so on and so forth. So based on that, the partners' capital account would also be changing. Now, accounting-wise, some of us may decide for a partnership firm that we will divide the owner's money into 2 parts. One would be called fixed capital. The other is current account or floating capital. But whatever you do, the capital is the whole amount, which will keep changing. Maybe you can keep a portion as fixed capital there, but still the logic is you can even draw the fixed capital, and that fixed capital can also become negative. But when you come to shares, share capital, the capital of a company is fixed. It cannot change except by following the law. It is divided into units of equal value. So, which is why when I am representing the capital of a company, immediately the shape is changing. From a shapeless, nebulous, changing blob, it becomes a fixed, dimensionally accurate grid, where each, let's say it's a square, it's again divided into smaller squares. And each unit is of equal value. The capital of a company is fixed and divided into units of equal value called shares. So I have colored up now, this blue part is a share. So, which is why when you look at the definition of a share, 2 subsection 84 of the Companies Act defines a share. What does it say? Share means a share in the share capital of a company. We already saw this. Share means a share in the share capital of a company. This is what it means. So share means 1 unit of this grid. Like that. So you might be holding 200 shares, in which case 1, 2, 3, like that, until we come to 200. That is yours. That set of shares is yours. Right. Now, they also say share capital of a company includes stock. Friends, we already discussed stock. So quickly, and as rightly pointed out by one of you, stock means it's a bundle of shares. Agreed. Stock is a bundle of shares. Mainly, stock is created for the purpose of easy trading in the stock exchange. So instead of buying 1 share, 2 shares, or 100 share, 10,000 share, we take 1,000 shares or 100 shares and we bundle them up into 1 stock. Okay, one major difference between share and stock, major difference is share is issued in the first instance. Stock cannot be issued. Stock, you have to first create share, allot a share, then once those shares come into existence, you bundle them together to form a stock. If at any stage you want to reconvert back, you can. You can break up that bundle and bring it back into original shares. This is mainly meant for ease of trading, ease of what shall I say, buying and selling in the market. Yeah, correct. So as rightly pointed out by Neha, this looks like an amoeba, but I wish she had spelled it correctly. Amoeba spelling is A-M-O-E-B-A. Though it's pronounced amoeba, spelling is A-M-O-E-B-A, amoeba. English is a very treacherous language, especially spelling. See, my greatest problem in English with English is not grammar. Okay, for me it's pronunciation, of course, because I'm an Indian. Definitely, my pronunciation wouldn't be great. Secondly, my spelling is also I'm very weak, so I take a lot of effort and trouble to learn spellings of words. But one good thing today is, when we use Word, Bill Gates will do it for me. Means Microsoft Word does it for me. If I type a word wrong, fellow comes and helps me to correct it. And similarly, there is another app. I don't know how many of you use it. It's a beautiful app. It is called Grammarly. 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 Grammarly is a beautiful app which, see, if you're writing or typing out an email or doing something, my suggestion, write out an answer on company law. Don't write it, type it out on I don't know, if you're enabling Grammarly, then it can work in Word also, but it works better with Google. So what I do, I type it out in Notepad. So as I type out and say Google Keep, and as I keep typing now, if there is any grammatical error, it will be immediately pointed out by Grammarly. Just check this out next time. See how you keep on doing it. You will slowly learn the correct grammar. It will happen automatically. So that, speaking English well, I've already been there, done it, so let's not do this again. But don't you think it's important for you? Think about it. So use Grammarly. Grammarly. Grammar spelling is Grammar. Grammarly. See what happens now if you spell words wrongly and you are writing the exam in English and not Hindi. See, if you are writing the exam in Hindi, absolutely no problem. You don't have to know English at all. But if you are writing in English, then and if you spell the word wrongly, it will give a wrong impression to the examiner that maybe the person is not aware of subject. No problem. So share means a share in the. So good. If you know the spelling, good. Shares, debentures, or any other interest of a member in a company to be movable property. See, the word used is interest of a member in a company. Interest means you're right. So shares and debentures are interests in the company. Okay. They are all movable property. See, point why they are called movable property is because, definitely, first of all, share is not a tangible. Share is not tangible. I'm not joking. Today, how are shares to be held? In dematerialized form. Am I correct? So how are they tangible? They are intangible electronic records. Basically, share is a conceptual asset. Share is a conceptual asset. But share is basically a right to do certain things or to get certain things. When I say I'm holding 20 shares in Reliance Industries, I'm telling I have certain rights vis-a-vis Reliance Industries. What are these rights as a shareholder? What are my rights? Definitely to vote. One of the important rights. I have a right to vote at the meetings on any matter as an equity shareholder. I have the right to receive dividend. 3, I have the right to be given a buyback if we offer. Okay. I have the right to receive rights offers. Okay. Whenever they're going for a further issue, first they have to ask the existing shareholders in proportion to they have to be offered to the existing shareholders in proportion. Right. So are you able to see the bundle of rights? So the minute I say I own a share, I'm having a bundle of rights in a company. Okay. Finally, I have the right to receive the money back at the time of winding up. Okay. So many rights are, shall we say, combined. When I say I'm an owner of a share in a company, I'm saying I have so many rights in that company. Mr. Srinivasan, I appreciate your question, but one humble request, do not interrupt the class with requests like, not only you, all students, do not interrupt during the session. If you want such request to be made, do it either in the beginning of the session or at the end of the session. during the session, restrict your comments and questions to the topic being discussed. Is that humble request to you? With regard to your specific request now made, I will not give any guarantee, but I will do my best to try if I can. After all, the institute material is with you. You have it. You can read it. Answer is also given. I have taught the topic. Why don't you do it on your own and have an exciting time? Okay. If you don't understand it, then in one of the future classes, you ask me, specifically tell me, sir, this particular question I am not able to understand. That question I will teach. The reason I am telling this is time. Already I am struggling to complete the topic. Okay, I'm struggling because you are asking so many questions. I am answering. In those days, if you remember earlier stages, there will be one typical person asking for Hindi. Then there will be a comment about that. Time. So let's not waste our time on something that is why, do you notice, I am giving fresh assignments. New questions I am discussing. Those questions you try to learn new. What is already given in the institute material, you read it. After attending my class, can you not do it on your own? I'm challenging. Without me telling, you should be able to answer. While you're doing it, you have one answer, but the institute is giving another answer. You have a doubt. You are welcome to ask me why, and I will clarify. So this is my humble suggestion to you, Mr. Srinivasan, and please do not mistake me. So if I start doing that now, I may not be able to meet him. But what I will do, I will tell you. After this chapter is completed, I will go through those MCQs and select a few which are interesting, and I will take it up. One more problem is, see, in order to discuss it in class, I have to copy it and paste it into PowerPoint and all. I can't expect that all of you will be having. But if you all agree, then Board of Studies material will be with you. Then I can tell the page number, read some one or two selected and according to me, interesting or controversial or relevant problems, we will do. Sure, definitely, I will do it. In addition to that, please note, I am also giving you assignments. In addition. But you intuitively, you are right. The questions and answers, solutions given in the institute material are very relevant from the exam point of view. Whether I teach or not, you read it. Okay. If you have a doubt, you ask me. Suppose I get some time, free time, I will take selected questions and try to answer it. But from the general exam point of view, please go through all the questions given at the end of the chapters. The solutions are also given there with explanations. So you may not have any trouble in understanding. Also, I have taught the subject and the logic. Outside of the subject, they are not going to ask something. So this should be a test for you to sit at home quietly and do it. And that will give you confidence that in the exam, if they ask me, I don't need this bloody Srikanth. I can answer on my own. That freedom, only when the student is able to think for himself, the guru has done some job. If the student still needs the teacher to teach, again, tell me this, tell me that, sir, then the teacher is useless. That is my definition of a good teacher. So you should become independent. 44 and 45, I will check up. If it is not there, leave it. Just for information, you note it. Otherwise, whatever I have told now, you ignore it. Don't be interested in that. Don't take it as a knowledge base. You don't take it. Just leave it. So though it's not there in the institute material, leave it. Don't bother about it. That knowledge is not required for you ever. Like that. Friend, once you go out of the institute, after you finish the course and go out, no syllabus, no material, nothing. Everything is there. Everything is in the syllabus. For me, there is no syllabus. Everything is in the syllabus. Start coming to that attitude, my dear friends. Get out of that student mindset and start thinking like a chartered accountant. Think like a chartered accountant, you will qualify the exam with better grades, better marks, maybe a rank, whatever. But if you keep on thinking like a student, then you will only be a student. Okay? Think like a chartered accountant. Okay. Shares and debentures, etc. can be transferred in the manner stated in the articles. Since they are movable property, they can be transferred by mere transfer of possession. Now, possession can be many, many ways. This watch, which I am having, is mine. I wear it on my hand. I possess it. Physically, I possess it. I have it with me. It's a physical possession. The shares of Reliance Industries Limited, I'm not holding on to it. I cannot because it is an electronic record. But it is credited in my DP account to which I have user ID and password access. So without me, other than me, nobody can access that property. So it is still in my possession. Okay, but not in my actual possession. It is in symbolic possession. Okay, symbolic possession. That means I don't actually possess it, but I am in a position where I can control that property. Nobody else can control it. Okay, so it means it is credited in a DP account. And from that account to be sold, when it has to be transferred without my instruction, it cannot be done. Got it? That is what I am possessing it. How will I transfer it to you? By giving possession. How I will do it? I will instruct my broker to take it from my DP account and transfer it to your DP account. Once that depository advice is given, that's called DP advice. Actually, nowadays it's all online, but once upon a time in those days, there used to be a DP advice. I don't know where it is. My old DP advice book was kept by my secretary. I just told her to keep it somewhere because we don't need it, but still, I thought I will show you. It's a depository advice. Maybe later I will show that depository advice. But today it is not documented. It is online. I just go online and I give an instruction. It goes to your account. It's like bank transfer. Simple. Very, very simple. It's like GPay, boss. Bank transfer in GPay. You want to transfer money to me? If I send you my bank account details, simply you will transfer now. Sitting in your house with the mobile phone, you will do it. Same way you can do for shares also. Okay. Just for your information. Okay. Full form of DP, we will come to it when we come to dematerialization very short while. But just I will explain more about DP. DP is depository participant. Who is a depository participant? Don't ask me. I'm going to explain to you when I come to dematerialization. DP is depository participant. Okay, that is an abbreviation for DP. DP, depository participant, is an agent of the depository. The depositories do not directly deal with public. The depositories have appointed agents. They are called depository participants. So any person, Indian citizen, wants to have a DP, he wants to hold shares in dematerialized form, they have to open an account with a depository participant. It's called DP account. So that's a common term, DP account. Like everybody should have one. If you don't have a DP account, my humble request, all of you open one now itself and keep it ready. Because you never know when you will get money, when you will start earning, you will start saving money, you invest in share capital, share market. At that time, you have it ready now. All of us should. Just like bank account, you should have a DP account. Chalo. Equity share means all share capital, which is not preferential capital. Okay. Wow. Great guys. Yeah. So always they define as equity share means all share capital, which is not preference share capital. Okay, let me see about this 44 and 45 business in Board of Studies. That's why I'm keeping it open in front of me. So that, when you say something, I won't behave like a Buddha. I will straight away go and see the institute material and find out what they are telling. 40. Yeah, I think you are right. 43 to 72. 44, 43 hai. 43 is what we are now dealing. 43, then you are making me editing the board studies material. 46, you are right. 44, 45 is not this. Straight away from 43, they are moving to 46. It's okay. Maybe you ignore it. It shall be deemed that Srikanth did not teach 44. Okay, deeming provision. I have created a league. I did teach, but it shall be deemed as if I have not taught it. Okay, whatever you know about 44, forget it immediately. Don't remember it. Okay, chalo. Equity share means all share capital which is not preference share capital. Preference share capital is that part of issued capital carrying preferential rights. Preferential. Preference means special or different. Okay. Different, old, I mean, different. Okay. Now, my mother used to like my sisters more than me. I mean, not like that. I'm just saying. So she will give preferential treatment to them. Or sometimes in some families still in India, the male is given more preferential treatment. Means first the male child, the son will have to eat. Only then the daughters will eat. I'm not telling it is happening now. Once upon a time, men used to get preferential treatment. I'm explaining the word preferential to you. That means before they get it, these people will get it. So when we say preference share capital, it means those people have certain preferential rights. So before the equity share capital will get it, the preference people have to be paid. So that is called preferential right, special right. So the preference share capital is one above the equity. So preference share capital is that part of issued capital carrying preferential rights. What did I tell you? Before the equity is given, the preference shareholders will get it. What? Dividend. So preference shareholders are entitled to payment of dividend, whether by way of fixed amount or fixed rate. So preference shareholders will have to be paid dividend before the equity. So preferential right with respect to payment of dividend. That dividend could be either a percentage in terms of a rate, or it could be a certain amount. For example, 2 rupees per share. Every year dividend of 2 rupees per share will be paid. Nominal value 10 rupees. 2 rupees per share will be paid. Means what? 10 rupees, 2 rupees, 20% is the rate. But they might say 2 rupees. Or they might say 12% preference share. That means every year, those preference shares are entitled to 12% dividend. That dividend has to be paid before the equity is paid. If there is no money to pay, after paying preferential dividend, there is no money to pay equity, then equity will not be paid. Okay. Similarly, in the event of winding up, at the time of closing of the company, when the assets are sold, liabilities are paid, what is left over? First, preference shareholders have to be paid. So preference share capital carries preferential right with respect to WRT, means with respect to. It is an abbreviation. Like, you have W.E.F. with effect from. So when you say this notification has come, so I will ask you, sir, with effect from which date? So when I'm writing, instead of writing with the effect from, I will say W.E.F. So payment of dividend, whether by way of fixed amount or fixed rate, repayment of capital. Now, we saw this earlier when we said articles of association and memorandum are subject to Act, unless specifically the Act says. Unless the Act very clearly says this section shall not apply. Okay, except insofar as it is exempted, all matters will be. So here, what is this one example, 43, where in case of private company, section 43 shall not apply where memorandum or articles of the private company so provides. So 43 as such will not apply to a private company. This means a private company may by its articles state that the company may issue preference shares which will have preferential payment of dividend, but no preference which will have preference in payment of dividend, but no preference as to repayment of capital. Meaning, definition of 43 says preference shares means they should have preferential payment of dividend, preferential repayment of capital. Now, you are a private company. In your articles, you need not have both. You can say, in our case, preference share means one which will get preferential dividend, payment of dividend at a fixed rate before equity. But repayment of capital, both are equal. They will be paid pro rata, proportionately. You can say that. Private company is exempted from section 43. Got it? Now, we've seen classes of share capital. Basically, the two broad calculation. One is equity share capital. The other is preference share capital. Now, equity again is divided into two parts. Normal with voting rights. Those equity shares carry full voting rights. Later on, we will see voting rights. Now, for the sake of immediate understanding, I will explain. On a poll, we saw that on a poll, when there is a poll, one share, one vote. So, normal equity shares, which are with voting rights, one share will be exactly one vote. One share will be exactly one vote. So, if I'm a shareholder, I have 100 shares, I have 100 votes. It is possible for a company to issue shares with differential rights as to dividend, voting, or otherwise, which means a company may issue equity shares where each equity share will have only half vote. Sometimes no vote also. Please understand. Obviously, which fellow will buy this when there is no vote? He will buy because they might offer him a fixed dividend. They might tell him, we will pay you 24% dividend. Okay. But no voting rights. Chalo, no problem. I may take. See, if the late Dhirubhai Ambani had come to me and said, Srikanth, Reliance Industries Limited will confirm to give you 22%. And the share market price also will go up. But no voting for you. Are you okay? Chalo ji, Ambani ji, no problem. Because, boss, 22%, yeah, Ambani, he is definitely going to make money. Price will definitely go up. I trust. As if today with voting rates, what am I doing? I cannot influence in the Reliance decision making. It is my trust in Mukesh that works here. It is my trust in him that works here. Once that trust is there, voting rate is nothing. Okay, I'm just making a statement. This is not true for all companies. It may be true for some highly successful entrepreneurs who can command this type of a thing. Even they have to give me something extra to forego. They have to give me something extra to surrender my voting right. So the dividend usually will be high. They will say, normal equity shares, if this year we are declaring 10%, for you we will give you 12% more, or 2% more, or 5% more, something like that will be there. Okay. One more thing, if I have given the impression that differential voting rate share will be definitely entitled to dividend every year, no. Even differential voting rate shares are like equity shares only. Therefore, they cannot demand dividend as a right. It is the board only which will decide. But when the dividend is declared, these people will get higher dividend at a pre-decided rate. Okay. But if the board decides not to give dividend to equity shareholders, end of story. Equity cannot force. But preference shares, no. You cannot say, I won't give. If you have profit, you have to pay. Okay. If you have profit this year, you have to pay the agreed rate. Otherwise, it's a big problem. What happens if you don't pay? We'll tell you. So we already saw preference shares. I'm skipping this. I mean, I'm not going again into the explanation because anyway, we're going to see in more detail when we come to types of preference shares. Now, we are moving on to, as I told you, issue of shares with differential voting rights. Okay, how to issue? There was one small question yesterday's law paper. Yeah, not now, Rahul. Maybe after the break, or better still, you put that question in the thing. Allow me to take the call. I will take the call whether to take it or not. Because sometimes, I will not play that game. You ask me any question, I will answer. Maybe even I may have a doubt. So you give me the question, I will go through it. If I can answer, I will answer. Otherwise, next class I will answer. Sorry, that is my approach. I am not so confident in my subject that I will say I will answer. But if it is clear and unambiguous, I will answer. Otherwise, I will refer and I will answer. Okay, sure. Provided it pertains to this topic. If it doesn't pertain to topic, I will not answer today. Next class, I will answer. Okay. Yes, first the dividend will be paid to the equity and then to the preference. Okay. Yeah. Chalo. Yeah. So has any company issued shares with differential rights? As Parth has told, now Tata Motors has DVR. Very correct. Tata Motors and Pantaloons Retails, which is now renamed as Future Enterprises Limited, issued DVRs, differential voting rights, with 1/10 voting rights as compared to high ordinary shares in exchange for 5% higher dividend. Please note, not 5% dividend, 5% higher. So, if the company declares a 20% dividend, these DVR walas will get 25%. If the company declares 20%, DVR walas will get 25%. Okay. Good. So, there is no maximum DVR percentage. You can give anything you want. 10%, 15%. See, basically, my dear friends, it is not statute controlled now. It is commercial. See, boss, it is your capital, ma. It is your cost of capital, boss. See, you are an intelligent financeman. You should know how much to give extra and all. The law cannot come and interfere and say you can't give more than that, less than that, and all that. See, because the interest rates, and the rates and all, financial market indicators are dependent on demand and supply. So, generally, statutes will not come and interfere with that. Maximum this much and all. All they are saying is you can issue differential right shares, which will carry slightly higher rate of dividend. And they may have voting rights or may not have. See, for example, these two fellows have given 1/10 voting rights. Meaning what? If I have one share, it is equal to 1/10 vote. So, instead of putting it that way, I will say, if I hold 100 shares, I have 10. If I have 10 shares, I have one vote. To get one vote, minimum one vote if I want, I should own 10 shares. Then only 1/10 I will get one vote. Am I correct? So 1/10 voting right. Because they are sacrificing 9/10 of the voting right now. So per share only 1/10, which means the balance 9/10 they are sacrificing voting right. So normal person, if he has 10 shares, he will have 10 votes. The DVR fellow will have only one vote. So 9/10 he is sacrificing now. For that, we are giving him 5% extra. Okay. So that is your choice. It's a very, very delicate choice. Okay. You are right, sir. First, preference shares will be paid. Then only equity will be paid, including DVR. Okay. No, that is why it is called preferential right. That is why it is called preferential right. No. Your question is very good, Rituraj. Will differential shares get more bonus shares than equity? No, sir. Because when the bonus is announced, everybody gets the bonus, sir. Bonus is based on what? Not on voting right. Bonus is based on what? It is based on number of shares. So if I'm having 20 shares, for every 2 shares, I'll get 1. Then for 20 shares, I will also get 10. You will also get 10. But that additional bonus shares will not be entitled to voting right. The voting right on that share will be 1/10. But I cannot prevent you from getting a bonus when I'm issuing. This is my view. I'm expressing my view here because there is no clarity in the section or rules. But you will be entitled to bonus. Okay. What they may do, the company may do, see, these are 2 different classes of shares, right? So they might say, we are announcing bonus issue for regular equity with voting rights. We are not declaring for DVR, like that they might say. Okay, that they can say because it's a separate, so they can say because these people are different. This is also one other view that you can have. Okay, actually, it's an interesting question, thought-provoking question. How about bonus issue? I'll have to check out, and I feel that when they are giving bonus shares, they can give specifically only for with voting rights bonus. Without differential voting rights, no, for you no bonus like that. They can say. Even assuming that they give for everybody, they will give only equally. So everybody who has 2 shares will get 1 share. But the differential voting rate wala will get shares on which the voting rate is less, 1/10. Okay. This is my understanding of the provision. They won't get more. 100% they won't get more. Now, there are certain conditions to be satisfied for issue of equity shares with differential rights. Okay. If you cannot issue DVR unless DVR shares, unless DVR, differential voting rights, shares with differential voting rights, DVR shares. Okay. Authorization by articles. So the articles of association should specifically provide for issue of equity shares with differential voting rights. In the case of a listed company, this proposal should be authorized through postal ballot, meaning the ordinary resolution should be passed by postal ballot. Right? Why they are telling postal ballot? So that everybody will be able to participate. That's all. Whenever they say postal ballot, it means they want to enable participation by all shareholders. Now, this is something you might want to understand. I'm sure some of you will not understand. I will explain it once. Definitely one or two of you will want me to repeat it, but I will repeat this. No problem. See, the voting power of all shares with differential rights not to exceed 74% of total voting power. Right? Now, do you remember what is total voting power? Do you remember what is total voting power? Total voting power means when all the votes which can be cast, total votes which can be cast are cast. What is the total number of votes which can be cast? That is the total voting power. Suppose a company has 2 lakh shares, equity, and we are only talking about equity. We are talking only about equity, both normal and DVR. Okay. So, the voting power of all shares with differential rights not to exceed 74% of the TVP, total voting power. Let me give an example, you will understand. Even if I give an example, you might find it a little difficult. So, I will explain. So, concentrate. Number of shares, 1 lakh. Normal equity shares, 1 lakh. Ignore the equity shares with DVR for a short moment. For 1 minute, do not look at the right-hand side. Just look at the left column or look at this column only. The normal equity shares, there are 1 lakh. They are normal. So, 1 vote per share. Am I correct? So, number of votes is 1 lakh. So, if there are no DVR shares, then the total voting power is 1 lakh. 1 lakh shares, one vote per share, 1 lakh. No problem. This company has issued votes, equity shares with DVR, differential voting right. It has issued 6 lakh shares. These 6 lakh shares carry 1 vote for 2 shares. So if you are holding 2 shares, you are entitled to 1 vote. So if 6 lakh shares are there, how many votes? 6 divided by 2, na? So for every 2, 1. So for 6 lakhs, 3. Am I correct? 6 by 2, 3. So it will be 3 lakh votes. So what is the total voting power? Total voting power is total of these two. 1 lakh for the normal, 3 lakh for the differential. Total voting power, that is total number of votes. At a meeting of the company, both of them will come. DVR also will come, normal equity will come. Together they vote. Normal fellows, when they vote, if all of them vote, 1 lakh votes. When the DVR fellows come and vote, if all of them come, 6 lakh shares are there. All of them come, they vote. Even then, number of votes will only be 3. Because for every 2, 1. 1 for 2. So 1, 3 lakh. So total votes which can be cast is 4 lakh. Now, as a percentage of the total voting power, what is the voting power of equity shares with DVR? So the equity shares with DVR is having total voting power 3. As a percentage of the total, how much? 75. What did they say? It is not to exceed 74%. This is going above that. So voting power of all shares with differential voting rights not to exceed 74. Here it is 75. So not allowed. Means you cannot issue 6 lakh DVR shares. You have to adjust it in such a way that the proportion of DVR in the total voting power should be less than 74%. I have explained it to my knowledge in a way that it can be understood. If you have not still understood this, tell me. Otherwise, if 1 or 2 of you say you are clear, I will move on. Can differential voting rights have more than 1 vote per share? No. No. Maximum is 1 per share, 1 vote per share. You cannot go beyond that. No. Okay. Actually, no, you can, but I have not seen any company do that. Because, see, how are they defining DVR? They are saying differential rights as to dividend voting or otherwise. But they are not saying differential right should be only less. So, theoretically, so Mr. Ganguly, DVR shares can have more than 1 vote also. 2 votes per share. But which company will do it? Yeah. I mean, theoretically, Mr. Ganguly, yes. But practically, no company will do it. So, practically not relevant, but theoretically, yes, sir. Possible, sir. To answer your question, sir, possible, sir. I can give 2 votes per 1 share. But not a good idea. Nobody will do it. Thank you. How can calculate 75% for both? No, sir. Only DVR shares is 3 lakhs. Total is 3 plus 1, 4. 3 by 4 into 4. 3 lakh divided by 4. 3 by 4 is 75. Correct? As a percentage. If 4 lakhs is 100, what is 3? So, 3 by 4 into 100 is 75%. That's what it is. Correct. Your current KNA has got a good point. That is, the company, they are trying to provide safety of equity share excluding DVR. I think it is meant to protect. Otherwise, what will happen? This company will have a small number of full shareholders and everything else, it will only be having differential voting rates. So, they are putting a cap on the company's ability to raise funds through differential voting rates. That's all. The limit is, my feeling is that they don't want a company to have 99% DVR. 1% only the 2-3 promoters will have full shares and go on with life. Maybe they don't. I don't know what will happen by that. As I told you, if Ambani wants it, I have no problem. So long as he's right. See, the confidence in the promoter is the real secret behind market, share market. Okay. See, I told you, many people will ask me it again. Madam, Pooja Gupta, listen to me. What is the total voting? What is the voting power of the DVR shareholders? Only 3 now. How I get 3? 6 lakh shares are there. But 1 vote for 2 shares now. So for 6 lakh shares, how many votes will be there? 3. So this is the total votes for total number of votes or voting power of DVR shares. Normal shares, 1 per share, 1 lakh. So 3 plus 1, how much? 4 lakhs now. That 4 lakhs, listen to me, this is very, very important. 3 plus 1, 4 lakhs, I am calling it total voting power. Means at a meeting of a company, if all the equity shareholders come, DVR and normal, how many votes will be cast? 4 lakh votes. How? Normal shareholders, 1 lakh. DVR shareholders, 2 for 2, 1 na. So the 6 lakh shares will come and vote, but they will get only 3 lakh votes. So total voting power, 3 plus 1. So 4 is the total. Of that 4 lakhs, listen to me, of that 4 lakhs, what is the percentage of equity shares with DVR? 3 lakhs. So 3 by 4. 3 by 4 in percentage, how much it is? 75%. 3 by 4 into 100, 75%. Okay. Madam, have you understood? I have explained it 2 times. If still you have not understood it, I'm sorry. Okay. You have to understand it. Or else you should ask me specifically. Then only I can answer. Again and again, I cannot keep repeating the same calculation. Okay. Have you understood it, Pooja ji? Correct. The purpose of differential voting rate is they want to have better control on the company. See, this way, this company, the owners, promoters of the company, they can have better control now. But see, they are raising 6 lakhs, but they are surrendering only 3 lakh share votes. But they are raising 6 lakhs. So they are able to raise more money, but giving less control. Giving less control. Okay. This is something that it is popular in foreign countries, but they are trying to introduce it into India, but not many companies do it. See, many of these topics now, differential voting rights, stock, share warrant, in India, they never really caught on. Nobody really was interested. Only Tata Motors and this Pantaloon Retails have done it as of now. Because there are so many conditions to be satisfied. Okay, we saw 3 conditions. Now, 4th condition, no default in filing financial statements and annual returns for 3 immediately preceding financial years. So, you should have filed your annual return, financial statements and all correctly for 3 immediately preceding financial years. Also, there should be no subsisting default. What is the meaning of subsisting default? Subsisting default means default which is there at the time of issuing DVR shares. Default is there at the time of issuing DVR shares. Okay? Got it? So the company should not have, there should be no subsisting default. Okay, at the time when or in the year in which it was decided to issue the shares. So, in case you have declared a dividend, you should have paid it. Any deposits have matured, they should have been repaid. There should be no default. At the time when you are going for issue of DVR shares, there should be no default in payment of declared dividend, in repayment of matured deposits, in redemption of debentures due for the same. Suppose you have a lot of debentures coming for redemption, now that should be redeemed. So on the date when you are making the issue of DVR shares, none of these defaults should be there. Or if the preference shares are to be redeemed, they have to be redeemed. There should be no default. And if any debentures and deposits are there, interest should be paid correctly. Usually for debentures, interest will be paid once in 6 months. So the last half yearly interest should have been paid. For deposits, up to the last month you should have paid. Nothing should be due and not paid. No default. Okay. If there is default in any one of this, no DVR. Similarly, no default in payment of preference dividend. Every year you should have paid preference dividend. You should not have avoided paying preference dividend, or that means what? If you don't have profit, you would not have paid. So only profitable companies can go. No default. Repayment of term loan with interest thereon to any PFI, state level financial institution, schedule bank. There should be no default. See, they are putting all these conditions so that DVR shares are a benefit to the promoters. The differential voting right shares are a kind of benefit to the promoters. Before giving that benefit to the promoters, they want to be sure that the promoters are running the company correctly. They are not having any default. Now, these 2 defaults, no default in payment of preference dividend and repayment of term loan, etc., they are saying if such a default is there, then equity shares with differential voting rights can be issued only after expiry of 5 years from the end of the financial year when default was made good. Suppose this year there is no payment of preference dividend. Then next year you have more profit. You pay current this dividend, 23 dividend and 24 dividend. So you have made good the default. The default has been corrected. Now, so when did you make it good? During the financial year 23, 24, 25 only you did now. See, this year no profit. So preference dividend, nothing. Next year you make money. Next year in the AGM only you will declare. So 24, 25. So from the expiry of the 31st March 25, end of the financial year, you have to wait for 5 years. Only after that, you can go for DVR shares. Suppose in the year 23-24, there is a non-repayment of term loan, or 22-23, term loan repayment was delayed, not paid. So later, during September 23, as on 31/3/23, there was a default in repayment of term loan with interest to, let us say, bank. Now, it kept on kicking here and there, but finally in September 23, we located some money and made good. We repaid that amount and made it normal, up to date. Now, you have to wait for 5 years from the end of the financial year when default was made good. So when it was made good? During financial year 23-24. So you have to wait till You have to, so end of the financial year is 31/3/24. So from that day, you have to wait for 5 years. Upon expiry of 5 years only, you can issue differential voting right shares. So 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So only after 31/3/29, you can think of issuing DVR shares. So for these two defaults, there is a 5-year cooling period. For these defaults, they are only saying it should not be subsisting. That means what? At that time, it should not be there. So before that, if you make it good, at that time it is not there, no problem. But this one, even if at the time it is not there, you cannot do it for 5 years from the date of making good. Got it? That is why, all sorts of conditions they are giving now. So they don't want to issue. Many companies do not want to issue DVR shares. Yeah, already somebody was asking the question, Ms. Matiha. Yes, it can be done, sir. It can be done, madam. 1 share, 2 votes. 1 share, 10 votes. Go on. Do it. You cannot work in that company after that as CFO. Because, see, whose money, whom you are giving? 1 share, 10 votes and all. No promoter will want it. Promoter will want only reverse. So, one more thing, you're all students, which means you are reading the section with theoretical approach. So, your questions are all theoretical questions. Meaning, if this can be done, can that be done? So, you are asking logically. But what you are not thinking is, are they practical questions? In the real world of finance, in the real world of business, is this how people will behave? That connector, if you are able to get, it will be good. Especially, see, this is not a college level approach where you can mug up and whatever is in the book. And this type of questions and all, if you know, it will be great. But theoretical stops. Okay. You need to get into practical also. Who will give like that? 1 vote, 10, 2 shares. Theoretically possible, man. So, theoretically possible. Okay. Yeah. For the purpose of this preference dividend, cumulative dividend also considered. Yes. See, basically, what is cumulative? When we come, you will know about it. But cumulative, any preference dividend, if it is due, you have to first pay it. So, in 1 year, you did not have profit. You accumulated, but you are not paid now. So, when someday you have to pay it now. Unless you pay it, it is still not paid only. Okay. See, I'll tell you how you should ask now. This will apply only to cumulative. Why? Because non-cumulative fellows, in a year of loss, they are not entitled to dividend. Non-cumulative fellows, in a year of loss, they are not entitled to dividend. So, this will apply only to cumulative, where in a year of loss, they will be entitled to dividend, but it won't be paid. Subsequent year or other year, it will be paid. That is made good. Non-cumulative, where is it? But non-cumulative, suppose the profit is there, but you have not paid, then default. Cumulative, even if profit is not there, if you have not paid, there is a default. It will be accumulated. Later, when you pay, made good. From that day, from the end of that year, you have to. Good question. Anyway, for those who may not have understood what is cumulative, non-cumulative, don't worry. I will teach. When I come to preferential, I will teach. Karan Kene has got some knowledge of this, so she's asking, but he is asking, but others. Most of you may know what it is, but still, if you think cumulative, non-cumulative, what is that? Don't worry. It will be taught when you come to preferentials. Oh, conditions continue. The company has not been penalized by court or tribunal during the last 3 years of any offense under the RBI Act, SEBI Act, SCRA, FEMA. This is what I said, SCRA, Securities Contract Regulation Act. Under this law, only stock exchanges are recognized. This law deals with the method of trading on stock exchanges. Rules and regulations are given, SCRA. So it was in your final syllabus, now removed. In fact, law is removed from your syllabus, only self-paced. At your own pace, you can read. After clearing the exam, but before becoming a member, you have to do this. unless you clear that, you can't become member, but it is not part of your regular course. It's a self-paced module. I don't know what self-paced is. See here, even for this, you need teacher. Huh? Board of Studies material is there. Beautiful material is there. I'm not saying, I love teaching. Don't think that I'm saying I'm bored with that. No. But how you will study self-paced, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. But questions will be very simple. Only multiple choice questions will be there in final now. So law is not a problem. Without knowing also, you can clear and go. Okay. So anyway, company secretaries are there. Let them do the studying. We will hire them and tap their brain. We will not have any knowledge about company law. Why should we have? Because for all company secretaries are there. Final level, no need for that. Depth knowledge not needed. Company secretaries are there. Okay. So any other act which or any other special act which may be prescribed, then they will tell you. Okay. There should not be any default. There should not be any penalty by court or tribunal during the last 3 years. So suppose an order is passed. The company has been penalized. The penalty order is passed by the court or tribunal. Then for 3 years, you cannot go for DVR. From the date of that penalty order, for 3 years, you cannot go for DVR. They also say a company shall not convert its existing equity share capital with voting rights into equity share capital carrying differential voting rights and vice versa. So, if you are already having equity shares normal, that cannot be converted into DVR shares. That cannot be converted into DVR shares. Okay. The holders of the equity shares with differential rights shall enjoy all other rights such as bonus shares, right shares, etc. Just somebody was asking the question, whether they will be entitled to bonus and all. Everything which the holders of equity shares are entitled, subject to differential rights with which such shares have been issued. Suppose at the time of issue of the differential voting right share, you have told, we will give you voting right to 2 votes, to 1 vote for 2 shares. Okay. Dividend 5% more. Bonus issue, whenever we make, whatever we make, the proportion will be half for you. So, whatever other people are entitled bonus, you are entitled to only half. They might say you are entitled to more. So, if everybody else is getting 1, you will get double it. Like that. You can say. But provided such terms and conditions are discussed and put in the terms of issue of the DVR share. If that is silent, then this fellow is also entitled to the same number of bonus shares, rights, etc. Okay. In the register of members, you should clearly mention what are the equity shares with differential rights. So, my understanding, as I have seen it, is equity shares with differential rights are basically equity shares. For all intents and purposes, they are equity share and all, but only they are differential voting rights and dividend. Okay. Can the company set maximum limit for the equities? Why not do it? After all, what we are saying, one of the condition, there should be authorization by articles. While authorizing, you can put, see, company law has prescribed 74. You cannot prescribe less than 74. Do you understand? You cannot prescribe a cap which is less than the given by the act. More than that, you can prescribe. Enjoy, do it. Okay. Already there is a maximum limit here, 74. If you want to prescribe, you should prescribe higher only. You cannot prescribe lower. Got it? They have just differential voting right and dividend. No. Differential voting rights as to dividend voting or otherwise. You can have other things also you can have. Though I have never seen anything there. See, I have never seen. Very difficult, see, just issuing normal equity shares itself is a pain. Imagine DVR and all. Not every company can do that. Again and again, I'm telling you, if your company is going for DVR, the promoter must be solid promoter. The promoter should be such a guy. That's what I'm saying. Biani could do it. Ambani can do it. Ratan Tata can do it. Okay, you name it, about 50, 60 guys only can do it. in India. Other than that, nobody can do, because Dubakor Limited is coming with DVR. I will say, go to hell. I will not be interested. Who are you? I don't even know. Go, like that. So the company should be too good. Azim Premji's Wipro can do. But why will Wipro do it? Go, man. My normal equity share itself, there's a huge demand. Why I will tempt you with higher dividend and all? Go like that. Three, 4, and 5. Sorry? Default means not paying, not doing. There is a default means not doing something, not paying. So it's not in 3, 4, 5. Default is there only in 4, 5, and 6. It's not in 3, 4, 5. Default means not doing something. See, you have made it. Suppose I have to pay some amount correctly to the bank, EMI to the bank. Okay, credit card payment. Mr. X has to pay a credit card pay amount. On the due date, it is not paid. Default. Yeah, that is what default. If they give more than one voting, how? Very difficult, sir. DVRs, I'm not able to understand your question, but if they give more than one voting one, more than one voting one. I don't know what you have written there. How investor trusted to invest. Very difficult, sir. Very difficult. See, merely because he's giving me more, I can't take it, ma. Because my capital is gone, lamb. So unless that gentleman is, that company should be too good. Okay. Do you notice even, boss, 45, every share shall be distinguished by a distinctive number. Please ignore it. It is not there in your institute material. So ignore that section. Okay, 44 and 45 don't study. Don't remember. Okay. I mean, I don't know. It might be hiding somewhere. Check it up again. Because they have not exempted it to my knowledge. If you think it's not there, leave it. Okay, no problem. Now, share certificate. Possibly they have removed it because today all shares are in dematerialized form. You understand now? All shares are in dematerialized form. But 44 is still relevant because, please, somewhere in the corner of your mind, just put this thought there. All shares are movable property. Okay? Shares are movable property. This may become, see, you might say, sir, it is not in syllabus. Why are you teaching me? Correct. In GST tomorrow it became relevant, may become relevant, yeah. In FEMA it may become relevant. Somewhere else it may become relevant for you to know that shares in a company are basically movable property. So check it out. So no knowledge is ever wasted. And everything need not be channelized only for exam purpose. Is a broad idea I am giving you. See, many of you watched the Three Idiots movie, na? Amir Khan ka movie. And you watched that movie. You enjoyed it, you laughed. But did we really learn anything from that movie on how to live our life? We enjoyed what Amir Khan did. We appreciated Amir Khan character. But are we trying to follow him like his two friends? See, both his friends, after moving with that friend, they understand what is life. And why everything in life need not be sirf kaam ke liye. It need not be sirf kaam ke liye. It need not be only for earning money, only for passing exams. Na? So that attitude is something you should all develop. Agreed. 44, 45 is not there. Whoever told that, don't get worried about it. I'm not hitting on you. In general, I'm telling you, you are all very brilliant and intelligent people. So I'm asking you, don't restrict your knowledge acquisition, your knowledge collection process merely for the purpose of a job or getting a job or doing a job or clearing an exam or whatever. Thereafter, what happens to life? Yeah, get born, go to school, study, sirf kaam ke liye, then go to college, or else skip college and start doing CPT, come to CA, study, become a chartered accountant, go to work, read only income tax, read only company law, read only what is relevant for job, and maybe business magazines and, capital market and all that, and always be consciously thinking about money. Hey, 57 years old, 58 years old, suddenly life comes to a halt. And then what meaning is there in my life? Maybe 3 houses, 2 cars, 5 cars, 2 wives, 15 children. Wow, there's something better than that to life. Any age, remember that. When I was 15, I didn't read only for exam. Of course, exam I read. For exam also I read. It's not that for exam I didn't read. Exam also read. In addition to that, I will read so many books. So much knowledge I acquired. Not for any purpose. Please understand. Such way, if you do, you might ask me, sir, why are you wasting our time? Teach the subject. I'm telling you, if you expose yourself to newer and different things, the way you think would become different. You will no longer be like that guinea pig or hamster that only goes into that maze and it comes out. Like that, who moved my cheese, na? Who moved my cheese, walas? Fellows will be in the maze. And they will only, somebody moves the cheese, what happens? So only those people who develop knowledge and get knowledge from everywhere. So maybe you are all doing it. I'm not saying that you are not doing it. But nowadays, when I am a regular faculty for the advanced MCAs at SIRC. So I meet in a month something like 100 intermediate qualified CA students. 2 batches I do at least morning. 6 hours I am with them. I enjoy. I also see some brilliant people. Day before yesterday, yesterday I was with a group. It's very brilliant boys and girls. I really enjoyed. Some of them are. But I also see the tendency, majority, 90% of the audience, students who don't want to read anything beyond material or what is relevant for exam. Other than that, they will not see anything also life. So I feel a little bad. Why are these people like this? Like that? But that is not new. Don't think I am not going to tell you it is Gen Z, new generation and all. Even when I was studying in college, lot of boys used to be like that only. When my father was studying in college, there were people who were not interested in reading anything, not interested in developing knowledge. Then finally they get retired and then they become old and then they keep complaining. Mr. Srikanth, I don't know what is coming. My children not coming to see me. I am getting bored every day. Why are you getting bored? Because you have nothing else to do. Okay, I will never get bored. Yeah, I have never got bored. If I'm not doing something, I'll be doing something else. Okay, if nothing, I have a crossword puzzle on my table always. I have a business line crossword puzzle on my table. I'll start working on it and start doing something or the other. We have to do. I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm not trying to give you advice and bore you, but think. Okay, think. I'm very happy that Pooja Gupta has read the book. But what is the conclusion she has derived, and how is she going to change her approach to life based on who moved my cheese? That is the real issue. Okay, so today what has happened now? Coming back to our section 46, that dematerialization meant there is no need for physical certificate. So only when there is a physical certificate, there is a need for a distinctive number. See, suppose the company has 2 lakh shares now. There will be 2 lakh shares now. So each share will have a different distinctive number. So the first share will be 00001. Then 00002. Like that, you will keep on going right up. 00001, like that. 6 digits now. Then you keep on going till you come to 200000. This will be the last share. That is called distinctive number. Today, there is no need because no physical certificate, no physical. Everything is dematerialized. Computer G knows how to do it. And see, boss, how does it matter which share you are selling? Suppose I have bought 100 shares. All the 100 shares are recorded in the electronic form. When I sell 20, how does it matter which 20 I sell? Out of my 100 balance, 20 will go. Balance 80 will be there. Like money. See, suppose you are withdrawing money, depositing money into the bank. Will you note down the numbers and all? And then next time you go, no, give me that No, it's a unit. That's all. So once I deposit 50,000, I draw 20, another 20,000 will come. So it doesn't matter. In fact, nowadays, who is dealing in cash? All the money moves electronically. Like that, shares are also transferred electronically now. Therefore, there is no need for distinctive numbers. Okay. And as I told you, shares being movable property, possession of share certificate will be prima facie evidence of ownership. But today, no need for physical. So now how is possession? That is why I'm saying, though possession, physical possession is no longer relevant, still possession is relevant. Please understand, because movable property, how do I possess it now? Symbolically, constructively. I do not possess it by holding it in my hand or keeping it in a box and locking it. I keep it in the records of a depository and I lock that box. How? Through password and user ID and password. So I use a logical lock to keep my shares safe. Whereas if it is a certificate, I will use a physical lock. Okay. But in both cases, I will be having possession, which is very important. Okay. So that's why I put this does not apply to dematerialized shares. Entry in the records of a depository is prima facie proof of ownership for dematerialized shares. So if you say you own 1,000 shares in Reliance, the only proof I'll ask as your auditor is, please give me your DP statement. Suppose a company says they are owning shares. How do I check whether they are owning it? Please give me your DP statement. So they will get a fresh, up-to-date statement from the DP, wherein I will find Reliance Industries Limited 1,000 shares. Tick. Audit over. Because how did I verify it? I saw the balance sheet. There is the Reliance Industries shares are there. How do I verify the ownership? I'll get a printout of the DP statement, maybe certificate from the DP or whatever. How I satisfy myself. So I have verified both. See, this share capital and debenture topic, from company law perspective, it is important. But from auditing purpose perspective also, it is important. When you're studying auditing, many of these sections you might have to remember and reproduce. And when you're actually physically going to audit as an intern in a multinational firm, you will have to remember some of these sections when you're auditing large companies. It is not at all bad, sir. It is neither good nor bad part. What is it? See, again, I'm asking you, have you understood my basic point? You are holding 1,000 shares in Reliance, assuming you are, how does it matter in distinct number? Your DP record will show 1,000 shares. You sell 200, then you go online and print one more statement. Immediately, it will be 800. 1,000 will become 800. How does it matter which share you sold? What is really more important is logical security. What you should be really worried about is, does the DP have good firewall? Does the depository have good firewall? Is it sound enough to protect them from hacking? Because that is where the threat is now. Suppose somebody can hack the depository, then they can open fresh account, convert trade, all sorts of frauds can happen. Does the depository have sufficient logical and other controls to prevent fraud, computer fraud? That is what I will be worrying about in a digital world. Physical share certificate, distinct numbers and all, gone. Mr. Parth and others, welcome to my young world. Welcome to my new world. Welcome to the world of digitalization. I am young. Okay, I am ready for the digital world. Okay, don't worry. Everything new, it's going to come. I'm going to take it with happiness because it's going to help me to live my life better. So, I am young. Who is young? Anybody who is able to handle change, accept it, move with it, create change. That person is young. Anybody who is resisting change, always saying, I can't change, this is what I am, I'm permanently like this only, Mr. Srikanth, this is my character, I cannot change it. He is Buddha ho gaya. Old man, old lady. Okay. Now, some of my comments are not meant or addressed to the person who asked the question, like Parth or Neha Harge or Pooja Gupta or whoever, Mansi and all. When something comes to my mind, I'm saying, it so happens that it comes after your statement or comment, Parth. That's all. So, no need for... Sir, G, suppose I am incorporate fresh company, then I am go for DVR. At the time of issue, you are saying, yeah, in the memorandum itself, you have DVR. Go on, enjoy. Anyway, you have to put it in the memorandum, na? Enjoy. In articles, you put it. But again, at the time, see, in the articles, what you can say, you can only empower the company to issue DVR. Once the company is formed, then only you can do it now. At the time of incorporating, how you can do it, sir? At the time of incorporating, only normal shares. Hello, in the subscription class, you cannot have DVR. No. In the subscription class, only normal equity shares. Okay. Once you form that company, then in the articles, you make a provision for DVR. Then you issue DVR. So at the time of incorporation, no. If that is your question, no. Mr. Manohar Yadav, that is the subscribers to the memorandum cannot take DVR shares. There should be normal shares. And there should be normal equity. Then, see, unless there is normal, how there can be differential? You cannot have only different, because even otherwise, what will happen? 74% condition is there. So, definitely, you should have normal equity share. Then only DVR. Okay? Good. Now, physical share certificate shall be in form SH1, Rule 5. If it is there, okay. In case the share certificate is lost and all, duplicate certificate can be issued. Let's skip all this. In case you are issuing a duplicate share certificate with intent to defraud, there is a fine. And because it's also a fraudulent activity, there will be 447 action also. Now we come to dematerialization. I told you, I'll be teaching dematerialization. What I'm going to do, before we go there, I want to give a small break. Meaning, for 10 minutes, the time now is 7:26. So, 7:40, we will take up the class again. I'm consciously giving a small break. Normally, I will say no break, but now I'm saying let's have a break for a particular reason. So, let's have a break. Then we will start dematerialization. Sir, break, sir. Okay. Welcome back from your well-deserved break. Let's continue with dematerialization. Material means can be seen. Material world. Not material that we give to the tailor for stitching. English as single word will have many meanings. Again, material means relevant. Is this information material for me? Relevant, like that, many meanings. One more meaning is material means that which can be seen, touched, okay, tangible. That's called material. Dematerialization means converting from physical form to electronic record. So share is certificate, na kagas mein hai na. Remember that paper is not a share. That paper is only a document or instrument evidencing that right of ownership in that company. Are you able to understand? I have a unit right. I have a unit in that company, which share in that company, which gives me the right. That right is evidenced by the share certificate, which tells me how many units I have, how many shares I have. Okay. So that physical record is not a share. Share is a concept, nominal. It is concept. It is in the mind. Okay. But physical certificate was there in those days before computerization. Now with computerization, some brilliant man decided, hey, why should we hold physical documents like that? In fact, somebody had put, the note that they have seen their grandfather's, share certificate. I think Parthrana had put it. Yeah, in fact, you have seen your grandfather's certificate. I have personally owned those certificates in those days. 1980s, when I was investing in the share market, I used to, before 90s, as you can see, I used to have physical certificates, huge, big certificates. We used to store it. Then stamping had to be done. So I had one of my employees was only engaged in my security buying, selling activity. She will talk to the broker. She will do everything. Settlement, all nonsense used to happen. Nowadays, nothing. All online. Just go there, open my go to my depository participant website. Then I'm using a company called Edelweiss. Just go there. I have a user ID, password, log in. Then I go. I can see how much shares I have. Then I can buy. I can sell online. I can do online trading also. I can do. Automatically, the DP account will be adjusted. Everything. So this is one great thing that has happened thanks to dematerialization. Dematerialization is a process where there is no physical script. Script, share, all one and the same. Script, share, security, one and the same. So there is no physical security or share in existence. The depository maintains the electronic ledger of the securities under its control. So once I go through one depository participant, now automatically that depository participant will have a depository. With that, he'll have an account with the depository. So it will go through that. Like that. It depends which company so all is okay. So this whole concept of once the dematerialization happens, the physical stock certificates are then cancelled. Means scored out and destroyed and retired from circulation in exchange for electronic recording in the records of a depository. So in those days, in 90s, when Depositories Act was passed, a new law was passed called Depositories Act, 1996. That act only made the law how the shares will be dematerialized. So all companies were having physical certificates now. So they moved to dematerialization. So once they dematerialized, any fresh issue after 90s, only dematerialized share was given. Whereas before that, many companies had issued physical certificates. So many people did not convert it into dematerialized form. If they were also given time, finally, SEBI said very clearly, if you do not convert it and you are having physical certificate, you cannot give good delivery in the market. Suppose Mr. A is holding shares in Wipro. He has not converted it into dematerialized form. Now he wants to sell that Wipro share. He goes to the market, tells the broker to sell. Broker also foolishly sells it. Let us say Wipro at the time of selling that share was going at, for example, was going at 300 rupees. For example, 300 rupees. This man sells it. Evening, broker calls him and says, sir, please give delivery. He goes and he gives the physical certificate. Broker will say, Buddhu hai kya? What are you doing, man? I want dematerialize. DP advice you give me. What is DP? Immediately that fellow, what he will do, next day morning, first thing in the market, he will buy those 100 shares or whatever was sold. Whatever shares were sold by EA, it will be bought again. Suppose this fellow sold at 300, next day, by the time the price has gone to 350, man will lose 50 rupees per share. Okay? Because he cannot give delivery, ma'am. You cannot give the physical certificate. So what he should do? He should go to the company, apply. You should give her a letter saying, I am the owner of physical share. Please kindly change it to dematerialized one. Then the company will take it, confirm it. Then he will give his DP details. They will say, you open a DP account, go. So again, he'll go and open a DP account, come and give it to us. Then they will instruct their share transfer agent now to convert it into fungible form or electronic form and credit it into the donkey's DP account. Thereafter, he can sell normally. So process was there. The dematerialization process, many people found it very painful. In fact, in 1990s, many of those young people who were resisting change, okay, today they are very old. At that time, they were young, 30 years. They were all fighting, no. One more reason why, especially in North Gujarat and other places, they were Mumbai, Gujarat, they were extremely unhappy with dematerialization because earlier black money could be through binamis. They used to make application in companies and hold it, and huge shares will be held in the name of binamis. After all, physical certificate, so no, and they won't even take the dividend. The dividend warrant will come. That checks will come for dividend. They will tear and throw it because if they show it in the bank, now what will happen? That income will be questioned. Then the department will ask, where did you get the money for buying the share? Source. So they were afraid. So many Hawala people and black money walas, and I'm saying Gujarat, Mumbai, because that's where the bulk of Hawala trading was happening and the bulk Hawala is happening. But other places, what's happening is minute compared to the volume that happens in these two places. So there was a lot of resistance because everybody, the government will know the records are going to be electronic and KYC will be there. So and depositories under the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which you will study when you come to final. No, it's not in syllabus, so you don't have to know about it. So under that law, they'll be giving information to the government, central government, and FEMA to the Ministry of Finance. They will go through it and then they will send a mail. Where did you get this money from? Tell. So in order to that, so dematerialization was very much opposed. But finally, SEBI insisted. And one more advantage was National Stock Exchange came. NSE came full-fledged with electronic trading. And once, these people started seeing electronic trading, they realized it's better to go through Demat because they are able to do huge volumes digitally. So they agreed and slowly converted. Today, to my knowledge, 100%, if you are a listed company, your shares will be in dematerialized form. Okay. In 1996, the government formed two depositories, NSDL and CDSL. They in turn authorized various banks and NBFCs and brokers, as somebody was saying, huge broking companies. They were all, like for example, Edelweiss is basically a broker, but they are also NBFC. So they can also do. So they were authorized to act as depository participant, DP. So I may be using the word DP. That means depository participant. I may be using the word DMAT. That means dematerialization. Instead of saying dematerialization, I will say DMAT. Now, NSDL is National Securities Depository Limited. CDSL is Central Depository Services India Limited. Okay. Now, it will not be there in the book. If you are going to compare with book, means I cannot teach this subject to you. Yeah, I will not teach you subject. I am not conducting 5th standard geography class, ma. I'm conducting company law class. Unless I give these fundamentals, you will not understand. Then you will come back and ask me, sir, what is dematerialization? Then I have to explain it to you. So if it is, this will become relevant to you at a certain time. Okay. In fact, we saw it in prospectus. In prospectus, we saw that shares have to be dematerialized, like that. So at that time, so if your worry is whether this will come in the exam as a question, may not. So don't learn this. Don't bother about this. Okay. Where I'm getting a little cheesed off. No, if it is not in the book, I won't read it. Attitude, you stop it. If it is in the book, you should teach it also, you leave it. Because there is something important, not important also is there. That as a faculty, I know what is important and what is. So dematerialization, definitely you need to understand it well. Okay. So, no. So NSDL and CDSL are there. Sometimes, if I sound a little thing, don't worry about it. Why I am getting now? Why these children are not able to understand? Knowledge is like this. Why they are not trusting the teacher and learning from him? Why they have to audit the lecture, where they will keep the Board of Studies book in their hand and see to it that is covered to them, like that. Sometimes I want, because when we were students, believe me, when I was 20, 19, 20, 21, I became a CA. When in 18, 19, I went beyond the books, beyond the institute material. I used to read, for example, costing. I studied Colin Drury, Biggs on costing. Okay, Weldon on costing. Foreign books I used to study. So I will not rely only on institute material. I'll go beyond. And then I will do the from ACMA, I will work out problems. That is CMA now. I will work out problems. So that way, whatever the institute is asking now, it will be nothing for me when compared to the level at which I have studied it. So that is one approach to knowledge. If you think it is good, we can try it. Otherwise, 5th standard geography class, I'll keep the book and teach you and go. Okay. Now, see, once upon a time in the Board of Studies material, it will be written, these materials are only indicative. The student is expected to know the subject based on the syllabus, like that. And the syllabus for this is the entire section only. Okay, so that is the point. So don't mistake me for telling like this, but think like that. Because at intermediate level also, you might escape with this attitude of only studying Board of Studies material. The minute you come to final level now, you'll be shocked and surprised at the way questions are asked totally outside of what you studied in the material, but relevant. So your knowledge will be tested, but very, very powerfully. And so at that time, it will not be possible for you to say, it is, sir, out of syllabus, sir, it is not in the materials, sir, like that. You cannot tell. It is not possible to say that. Okay, I'm using this tone because this is how typically the students who talk, they talk like that only. Sir, it is out of syllabus, sir, it is not in the book, sir, like that they will say. So NSDL is National Securities Depository Limited. CDL is Central Depository. With the age of virtual and online transactions and the introduction of the Depositories Act, securities no longer need to be in physical form. But some shareholders still wanted to hold physical securities, and gloat means, see my side. So keep the cash in the kalla and keep on looking at it. Like that. SEBI has directed listed companies not to accept transfer requests for shares held in physical form after 1/4/2019. So if physical certificates are sent, they'll be sent back. Come for dematerialization. Only after dematerialization, transfer will be registered, like that. So compulsory dematerialization has come. Now, Rule 9 of the Act of these rules says promote. This is Rule 9 in the prospectus rules. The promoters of every public company making a public offer of any convertible securities may hold such securities only in dematerialized form. Okay. The entire holding of convertible securities in physical form should be converted to dematerialized form. Right? Now, this is very important. Compulsory dematerialization for shares of unlisted public companies. Listed companies already over. 1/4/2000 over. They said all listed companies securities are to be compulsorily dematerialized. Unlisted companies also, they said, every unlisted company shall issue the securities only in dematerialized form and facilitate dematerialization. So the idea was, even for unlisted companies, they want to prevent holding in the name of Binami. So in accordance with the provisions of the Depository Act. Now, whenever an unlisted company goes for an offer for issue of any securities, buyback of securities, see, offer can be made through private placement also. Don't think how unlisted public company will make offer. What is prohibited is not offer for issue. What is prohibited is offer to the public. So an unlisted public company can make an offer through private placement. That if such things are done, that should be done before that. The entire holding of securities of promoters, directors, key managerial personnel, etc. should be dematerialized. So any offer for issue, any buyback, any bonus rights offer, if you want to do that, your existing shares should be completely dematerialized. Okay. Every holder of securities of an unlisted public company who intends to transfer such securities on or after 2nd October 2018. So that circular came in 2018 itself. 2nd October 2018 shall get such securities dematerialized before the transfer. Or if he is subscribing to any securities of an unlisted company on or after 2nd October, he will ensure that all his existing securities are held in dematerialized form. So government wanted to encourage or enforce dematerialization. Also, every unlisted public company shall facilitate dematerialization. Means what? They should enter into an arrangement with depository. Both are one. They should enter so that any shareholder can get his shares dematerialized and the company will be able to do the transfer in electronic form. Okay. So they have to make a necessary application to a depository. Normally they'll have with both depositories. Okay. And they will secure international security identification number for each type of security. So for equity, one ISIN will be there. Differential voting rights, one ISIN. Like that. Preference shares, one ISIN. Like that. Now, recently, okay, Rito Banerjee, once shares are dematerialized, there will be no share certificate in there. So don't think some electronic image of the certificate will be created. No. Boss, you are having money in the bank now. You are having e-banking now, electronic banking facility now. How do you transfer funds? Do you actually take the currency or do you take a photo of the currency and send it? No. You simply transfer that amount by entering it in that column now. Amount to be transferred. You will enter it. Then beneficiary name, bank account, everything. You will, what is that? That character, this thing will be there now. IFSC code, everything will be done. Then finally, you will say transfer or proceed or press jack. Immediately it will start circling and then suddenly ta-dang, money has been transferred, gone. So it has gone out of your account. This is how digitalized transactions happen. Same way, your shares will also be digitalized and held in electronic form. Okay, good, Mr. Manish. Great. So, wonderful. Private companies, yes, that's what we are now going to see, Manish ji. Private companies, the NCAA recently, you can say hot vada. It's coming directly from the, tawa, it's coming directly from the oil, it's coming with fresh vada, hot vada. October 27, 2023, they have issued this Second Amendment rules. Prospectus and allotment of securities, which is why in the last class, one student was asking me to cover this. Why I am not covering there? Because I feel this has more relevance in share capital and debentures than in prospectus. Anyway, why they are doing it in PIS? Because PIS is more related to listing and all that. Whereas in my humble view, dematerialization has more relevance to share capital and debentures. Okay. So they have mandated all private companies except small companies. Please remember this. That new notification amendment does not apply to small companies. 4 crore capital, 400 crores turnover. Both such small companies does not apply. So if the company is a small company, there is no compulsory dematerialization. Small company, no. Other than small company, apply. Okay. So the amendment rules do not apply in the case of a government company. So small company and government company. So every private company which is not a small company, which has crossed the threshold, must within a period of 18 months of closure of such financial year, that is current financial year ended was 23. So from the closure of that financial year, that is before October 1, 24, that is September 30, 2024, even the private company should dematerialize. Thereafter, if they are issuing, okay, they should first convert it into dematerialized form, okay, and they should issue securities only in dematerialized form. They should facilitate dematerialization of its securities. So they have been given a grace period up to 30th September 2024. After that, they will be penalized. They should facilitate dematerialization. Every such private company making any offer of issue of shares, buyback, bonus, same, similar to this, similar to 9A only. They have amended this. So, private also now included. Every holder of private securities of private company who intends to transfer such shares should also get it converted. That should get it dematerialized. Okay, this is the idea. Good. Now, share in demat form. Private companies also go for demat. Yes. Now we have seen private companies. Is there any change in? Is there any charge on opening demat account? Ankur Patel. It depends on the depository participant, but generally there is a charge whenever you transfer. See, whenever you transfer a share, there will be a small 10 rupees whenever you get in, but that is negotiable. It is commercial contract. There is no statutory point there. So if some DPs, they are eager to get more and more customers. So they will tempt you by saying no DP charges, or no DP charges for 1 year, or no DP charges if your turnover in trading is going beyond one limit. If you are trading in shares, because that way that fellow will get brokerage from you much more than this DP charges. So you say, if you do so much turnover with me, DP charges waived. They will say it is waived. We won't charge it. Or nominally they may charge 1 rupee. Depends. There is a ceiling on how much they can charge, but that is in Depositories Act, not here. So don't bother about that. But it is, opening is not charged, but transactions are charged. You understand? Transactions are charged. Whenever you deposit or you take it out, it's charged. Okay, beautiful. Now we move on to voting rights of shareholders. Section 47. Voting rights of shareholders. We already saw now voting rights. At a meeting, they have to attend and 1 second, I'll just 47. Just turning to that page. One second, I'll just check up. In order to understand voting rights, first you should understand how voting happens. How voting happens. See, why voting? Because suppose a company wants to do something, how it is done? Only by passing a resolution at a meeting. Suppose the company's name is to be changed, special resolution. Situation of the registered office to be changed, special resolution. You remember? Change in the object class, special resolution. Everything they will say, pass a resolution, pass a resolution. Okay. How to pass a resolution? Resolution is passed only at a meeting by members attending and voting. Now, members will attend either in person or through proxy. Instead of coming in person, they might send a representative called proxy. There are some rules for that. You don't have to know that. Later, when you come to management and administration, you will be taught what is the proxy, what it can be done. Point is, I can either come in person or I can send a proxy. Proxy means somebody attending on my behalf. In those days in college, sometimes in my college, some boys, what they will do, they won't come. So they will ask one of their friends to attend and give proxy. Meaning, when the attendance is called, the proxy will shout, or like that, he will say, change his voice. Professor will know. Again, he will call. But this time he will look in that area where the sound came, because he knows now. So if the proxy is caught, it's out. So that is sending somebody other than the member to come. That person will come and vote. Got it? Finally, a member may vote through postal ballot or electronic form. Meaning, he need not attend the meeting at all. He need not send a proxy. He can access the website, vote electronically, or he can be sent a postal ballot form. He can vote on postal ballot. More about this definitely will be taught in management and administration. Currently, why am I even talking about it? So that you can understand what this poll is. See, initially, when the members are coming or not, whatever meeting, voting will be by show of hands. Suppose a company has only 10 shareholders, only 10 members. So on some matter they meet, 9 of them are attending. Chairman is elected. Why waste time polling? So they will say, raise your hand. All those in favor, raise your hand. Anybody to the contra, carried, matter what. This is called voting by show of hands. But show of hands means what? One man, one vote. Suppose there are 9 members. Each member will get 1 vote on show of hands. But out of that 9, 3 may be controlling 60% of the shares. Out of that 9, 3 may be controlling 60% of the shares. Remaining fellows, now the remaining 6 plus 1, 7 fellows, they are only controlling 40%. Now, suppose voting by show of hands, if out of this 3 fellows, only 1 guy is coming. Together they are controlling 60%. Yeah, only 1 guy is coming from that group. The remaining fellows come, 6 fellows come. So, voting by show of hands, 6:1, they will win now. Then, this 1 guy, he has come for himself and as a proxy now. He can call for a poll. He can say, Mr. Chairman, I demand a poll. Now, when a poll is demanded, the voting will be done on a ballot paper, wherein the name of the member will be there, registered folio number will be there. Means his ledger account, share ledger account will be there. Number of shares he has will be there. Got it? Then they will ask him to say whether he wants for or against. So he will print whatever is said now, resolution will be there, then for, against. If he puts the tick in for, resolution passed. Against. Means for, if he puts the tick in for, then suppose he's having 200 shares. He has put for, then 200 votes for. Like that. So like that, counting will be done. Then finally the result will be announced. How many votes for, how many votes against. And you know that special resolution and all. Now, I'm giving the mechanism of this so that you will understand. Now, voting rights are different for show of hands and for poll. On a poll, voting right of shareholder, whether equity or preference, is in proportion to the value of paid up capital held by him. So, I'm holding 1,600 shares in Reliance. What is my voting power? 1,600 on a poll. If I attend Reliance, on a poll, I can, if I put signature, if I put for and sign 1,600 votes for, I mean, that's nothing. There'll be people holding 1 lakh shares and all. Point I'm making is 1 share, 1 vote. Okay. So this is called corporate democracy. It works on proportion in total value, not the usual 1 man, 1 vote concept in conventional democracy. This is justified now because higher the stake, greater the risk, boss. So these 3 fellows are holding 60% now. They got more risk. So they should get more rights. That is the idea, right? But of course, the exception to this is differential voting rights, where those fellows agree for a lower voting rate. Okay. Now, every equity shareholder, including differential voting right shareholder, has a right to vote on every resolution. Only thing is, full right guy, normal equity fellow will get 1 full vote, whereas DVR fellow will get proportionate, fractional vote. That is all. But every equity shareholder has a right to vote on every resolution. Preference shareholders have a right to vote only on matters, resolutions which directly affect their rights. If it directly affects him only, he can vote. They can definitely vote on resolution for winding up, because winding up affects them, money they get. Also, any resolution for repayment or reduction of equity or preference capital. Suppose you are reducing, means 10 rupee share, you are saying, I will reduce it to 1 rupee, right off the balance. Then, or they might say, we have got lot of money, why have 10 rupee share? I will pay off 5 rupees. Like that. So whatever it is, any resolution for repayment or reduction of equity or preference, it will influence them. Therefore, they are entitled to vote. Other than this, they have no right to vote on any other matter. Preference shareholders cannot vote on any other matter. This is the general rule. Exception. When will the preference shareholders get the right to vote on all resolutions? Any matter, I will also vote. When the preference shareholder will get the right? When the dividend on such class of preference shares remains unpaid for 2 years or more. Again, before somebody is asking me, I will answer whether cumulative or preference. For 2 years, you have not been able to pay him. 2 years, you have made loss. You are not able to pay him dividend for 2 years or more. The minute 2 years you have not paid him, the preference shareholder will get the right to vote on all resolutions. Got it? Yeah. Now, Prashant Gautam, your question I will answer, but out of topic, don't ask. Just like, see, when there is one gentleman in the class, even if I teach something which is not in the board of studies material, he's saying don't teach. Like that, this is not in this topic. This is in final syllabus. No, this is in management and administration. Okay. Yeah, a proxy may be a non-member. A proxy may be a non-member. I have answered your question, but not relevant to this topic. But since we are discussing it naturally, but if I start encouraging this now, we will go there. So patiently wait for us to go to management and administration. There, one entire topic on proxy. I or somebody who is teaching will only tell proxy. So at that time, you will learn proxy. Okay. Right now, to answer your question, a proxy may be a non-member. Okay. See, there will be a lot of matters. I told you, you want to change the object class. How to change? By passing a special resolution. How special resolution be passed? By members attending a meeting or voting. I mean, since you asked the question in Tamil, I am forced to answer in Tamil. No, I will not answer in Tamil also. You have no right to demand Tamil when I have told that I will not speak in Hindi. Why I should speak in Tamil? No. You listen to me. You ask me a question only in English, sir. Please. Manishji, be Manish. I want you from now on to ask the question in English. Don't type it out in English, but use Tamil. No. Please. Because you have to improve it, ma. The same logic that is applicable to the Hindi gentleman applies to you also. Applies to the man from Andhra. Applies to the man from Kerala. All of you need to improve your English. Okay? So please avoid speaking in vernacular. Please, even though it is my own mother tongue, I am telling you, please don't do it. In your own interest, I am telling, ma. I have nothing against my own mother tongue. I am a scholar in Sangam literature. I have read Kamparamayana entirety. Okay? I have nothing against Tamil. But please do not write or think in any language other than English. Improve your English. Okay? Which is why I am ignoring people who are putting in Hindi. I am ignoring it. Only if they put it in English, I will read it. Otherwise, I will not. Though I can understand Hindi, for your information, I can actually understand simple Hindi, I can understand. It's not that I'm totally ignorant of Hindi, but I will not. Okay. So please understand, Manish. I have nothing against this, but don't do that, please. Because I'm tempted to speak in Tamil, which is very unfair to those gentlemen from the Hindi heartland whom I have told I will not speak in Hindi. See? So they have the right to tell, what Srikanth, what are you? You are talking in Tamil, sir, but you are not talking in Hindi. Like that, they should not say. What applies to them applies to you also. Okay, voting rights of shareholders continuing. So this could be a topic that you might want to remember. All resolutions when preference shareholders will get a right to vote. Could be a multiple choice question like that, or sort of a small question. 47 does not apply to a private company. Again, exemption. Means preference shareholders' rights. Okay. This provision does not apply to a private company. Okay. Private company can say, even if we have not paid, you are not entitled to vote, like that. Provided there is no default in filing financial statements and annual returns. So private companies can be somewhat innovative in structuring voting rights of their shareholders. So the reason they don't interfere with private company is because public has not invested. They are operating in a small way. So they can go ahead and do whatever they want. And person who becomes a shareholder of a private company knows that he is buying into a private company. That is why in India, name of company, if it's a private company, it will be clearly said so-and-so private company. But if it's a public company, they won't say public company. They will simply say so-and-so limited. So that anybody who wants to become a shareholder should be clearly aware that he is becoming a member of a private company. Now, this is about variation of shareholders' rights. Okay. Variation of shareholders' rights. Where the share capital of the company is divided into different classes of shares, the rights attached to a particular class of shares may be varied. You understand? Please note, you cannot convert. We saw that already in differential voting rights. You cannot convert normal equity shares into DVR. No, differential voting rights. But you may have differential voting rights shares. For those shares, you may want to vary the terms. You may have preference shares. For those shares, you might want to vary the terms. For example, preference shareholders are now currently preference shareholders are currently cumulative. You may change it to non-cumulative. Differential voting right shareholders currently getting more than 10% more than normal. You might want to bring it down to 5% or make it to 15%, whatever it is. When you want to vary the rights of shareholders, this can be done with the consent in writing of not less than 3/4 of the members of that class. Okay. But for normal equity, there you cannot do much change in terms and conditions. What is there? I am an equity shareholder. I am entitled to vote. You cannot touch that. My voting right cannot be touched. I am entitled to one vote. That you cannot reduce, because then it will amount to converting it into DVR share. Am I correct? Dividend, you cannot force me, because anyway you only I will get it. If you don't give, I won't get it. My repayment of capital, you cannot touch. See, that is why equity shares, the risk is high. Because you have no. But because they are taking so much risk, the reward is also very high. Okay. So the price of the share will keep going in the market now. That benefit will be coming only to the equity shareholders. Preference shareholders shares will not go up. Because after all, what is there? At the time of redemption, what you will get? That is all. If you have issued it at a discount, maybe a little bit based on interest rates, the preference shares may be quoting, but within that bandwidth only. See, suppose I have issued the preference share at a certain, premium, then based on the interest rate, some kind of redemption may be at premium. So for that, there may be some amount of variation. But equity share, sky is the limit. Okay. But the risk is also very high. Okay. So if you want to vary the rights of a particular class of shares, it can be done with the consent in writing of not less than 3/4 of the members of that class. So what you do, you send a mail to them, postal mail, send a form, tell them, sir, we are going to vary the terms. If you are okay for it, kindly affirm, sign. If you are not okay, sign. Self-addressed envelope, send it. Nowadays, nothing like that. They will send an email which will be linked to a URL. The minute you click that link, you will go to the URL where there will be an HTML form, online form. You will simply fill it in, submit. It will be going through your DP. Your DP, you have the DP account user ID password now. Through that, you will log in and do it. That's all. That the company will give a link for that. It will go through that. Automatically, it will ask you for your user ID password. Go there, chuck, 3 minutes, you're over, come out. Okay. So this is how it is done. So writing includes electronic form also. When I submit something in electronic form, it is writing. When I send you an email, writing. When I send a WhatsApp message, writing. Are you able to get this? What I'm now doing, speaking. So it is oral. Anything other than oral, where it's represented in characters or alphabets, is writing. Okay. When it is in sounds and phonetics, it is speaking. Okay. So either you get their consent in writing of not less than 3/4 or have a meeting of only those fellows and let them pass a special resolution. So suppose you have 100 preference shareholders. You are going to make them non-cumulative to non-cumulative. You call the 100 fellows and tell them, boss, are you willing? No. Then, but you might have to convince them and then say, I'll do this like that. So they can pass a special resolution and at a separate meeting of the holders of the issued shares. Now, if you want to vary the rights of shareholders, there should be a provision to that effect in the memorandum or articles. In the absence of such a provision, the variation should not be prohibited by the terms of issue of such shares. Okay. If there is no provision in the articles or memorandum, okay, go through the terms of issue of that share. What is the terms of issue? At the time when the share was first issued, there would have been an offer document, right? Something would be there. Private placement document or IPO document, something. In that, the terms of issue will be very clearly said. There, if it says, no variation shall be done with respect to the shares, then variation not possible. But if there is an absence of such a provision, there is no, then the variation should not be prohibited by the terms of issue of such shares. Okay. Now, in case the proposed variation would affect the rights of another class of shares, then written consent of 3/4 of such other class of shareholders shall also be obtained. Suppose the terms of issue of preference share is such that, let us say that there are two sets of preference shares, Series A, Series B. Now, earlier, the terms of issue was Series A and Series B, A will be first, B will be next. So, only after paying A, you will pay B, then equity, like that. Now, you are going to change it and say, both A and B will get it pro rata. Earlier, A got it first, then B. Preference. See, A series got it first. Both are preference shares. Both are preference shares. One is say 14%, the other is 12%. 14 will get first, then 12 will get, like that. Now you are going to change it and say, because then maybe the 12% fellows came and said, no, this is not correct. We should have. Then you are saying, okay, we will change it. Make it pro rata. Then another class is also getting affected now. Then both of them will have to give the written consent. Okay. Both of them will have to give the written consent. Because earlier this fellow only got it first. Now this guy also is going to get at the same time in pro rata. So the minute you say pro rata, both have to be given. So you should get the consent of 3/4 of such other class of shareholders also, because their rights are also affected. Now what could happen? There could be a man who is not happy. As usual, there are people who will never be happy. If anything is told, they will say, I will not do. I am not interested. They are called dissenting. Always, no, I will not. I will not join, like that. There will be a provision for such dissenting shareholders. You are not agreeing. See, we passed a special resolution, but still there are few people who voted against now. If those guys who are not happy are not less than 10% of the issued shares of that class, the holders of not less than 10% of the issued shares. One guy alone cannot go, but one guy, if he is holding not less than 10% of the issued shares, okay, who did not consent to such variation or did not vote in favor of the resolution may apply to the tribunal within 21 days to have the variation cancelled. Even, see, this is to protect the shareholder. See, he might be saying, boss, I like to have cumulative. Why should I go for non-cumulative? Because the other fellows are accepting, I will not accept, or we will not accept. So they are not less than 10% of the issued shares. Suppose preference this cumulative shares, 2 lakh shares are there. 2 lakh shares are there. Okay. Now they have called a meeting of preference shareholders, passed a special resolution. But some 25,000 shares are being held by people who have not voted for. Now what they do, they can apply to the tribunal and say, we don't want this variation. We want it to continue to be cumulative. Suppose there are 15 of them. One man can file on behalf of all of them. And the variation shall not take effect unless and until confirmed by the tribunal. So tribunal will the first hearing, they will pass an order directing the company, don't do anything until we give our final order. That's all. Then finally, when the variation is cancelled, gone. But if it is confirmed, then they can proceed. And order of tribunal on any application is to be binding on the shareholders. No appeal after that. Whatever decision tribunal has taken, take it and go. Okay. Now, once the order of the tribunal is passed, within 30 days, tribunal should, of that order of the tribunal, the company should file a copy of the same with the registrar. Now, we are going to talk about COLs. COLs means when shares are partly paid. At the time of application, only a portion of the shares where money was collected. That's what we saw now. Minimum amount for a listed company should be 25% of the issue size. So, balance 75%, how you will collect? Later, whenever you need money, you will make a call. You will send a letter to the shareholder saying, hey, you guys owe us money now, pay. That is called COLs. Okay. Now, these COLs are to be made on uniform basis. See, if my share is 50 rupees, at the time of issue, I have collected 25 rupees. 50 rupees share. That means what? 10 rupees nominal, 40 rupees premium. So, I have collected 5 rupees nominal value and 20 rupees premium. Balance another 5 plus 20, I can make a call. When I'm making the call, from some people, I cannot collect 15, another person 25. No, everybody I should collect equally. If I'm collecting 5 plus 20, everybody I should collect 25. If I'm collecting 5 plus 10, everybody I should collect 5 plus 10. So the calls to be made on uniform basis. Uniform means the same. Okay, on all shares in that class. And there should be no differentiation of a given class of security holders. You cannot say, those guys who live in New Delhi, NCR region, you pay only 10 rupees more. The rest of you guys pay. No, you cannot do that. Now, some people may feel, like say in my example, 50 rupees share, they collected 25 at the time of issue, balance 25, they say we'll collect later. But one gentleman is there, he says, hey, I can't do all these things. You here is 50 rupees, take it. I'm buying 100 shares into 55,000, take it. Whenever you are making the call, adjust it. This is called calls in advance. So a company may, if so authorized by its articles, accept from any member the whole or a part of the amount remaining unpaid on any shares held by him, even if no part of that amount has been called up. Even though it has not been called up, he can pay it in advance. Got it? This is called calls in advance. But on that portion of calls in advance, he cannot exercise voting rights. See, he cannot say, in my example, everybody has paid 25, I have paid 50, so everybody is getting 1 vote, means I'll get 2 votes, like that he cannot say. Okay, because I paid in advance, no. Proportionately, I'll pay more, I'll get 1 extra vote and all, he cannot say. He will also have only 1 vote. Okay. Now, can I pay dividend on calls in advance? Okay. Now, there is something called Table F of the Companies Act, model articles. You saw that now? In that, it says in clause number 13(1)(3), the board may, if it thinks fit, receive from any member willing to advance the same, all or any part of the money is uncalled and unpaid upon any shares held by him. Please note it, ladies and gentlemen, uncalled and unpaid. It is not just unpaid. If it is unpaid, then it is called in arrear. It is uncalled and also unpaid. This man may pay. That is called calls in advance. So that is provided in model articles also. The board is also authorized to pay interest on such calls in advance, not dividend. As per the Table F, they can pay interest. The rate of interest should not exceed, unless the government general meeting decides otherwise, it cannot exceed 12%. Okay? It cannot exceed. Whatever is agreed between the board and the member, but it cannot exceed 12%. Okay? They can pay provided it is there in the articles. It can pay. Now, any amount called up and remaining unpaid is called calls in arrears. Okay? So, the board may charge interest at 10% per annum on such calls in arrears. Just like they can pay 12%, they can charge 10% on calls in arrears. All this is given in the table model articles. The company may, if so authorized by its articles, pay dividend in proportion to the amount paid up on each share. Meaning, in our example now, we said 10 rupee share proportionate. So they can pay proportionately. But on the calls in advance portion, they cannot pay. They can only pay interest on calls in advance. Got it? So we have now come to this issue of shares at a premium. Let us stop here. Not a problem. We will continue in the next class. We made a good thing. And one question was asked by my friend, which I think was, one second. That is, from the exam he has asked, Rahul Sharma, a clause that begins with the words notwithstanding anything contained is a clause that has the effect of making it can operate at 4 levels. This is coming in interpretation of statutes. Notwithstanding anything contained, 4 levels. First level, it will say notwithstanding anything contained in this section or another section. So, notwithstanding anything contained in this section or in this subsection, in subsection 2, like that. That is the first level. Second level is notwithstanding anything contained in this act. So, entire Companies Act, it will be superior. This section, the provision of this section will be superior to the entire act. No other section can contradict this section. This section will be superior to all other sections, provided it says notwithstanding anything contained in this act. Or it can say notwithstanding anything contained in another act. Say notwithstanding anything contained in the Securities Contract Regulation Act or notwithstanding anything contained in the Companies Act. This is what will be applicable. So if there is any conflict, if one section is providing in one way, another section is providing in another way, that notwithstanding is there in one section means that section will be automatically superior. So both are coming and hitting. The guy who has notwithstanding will say, go, I am superior to you. So this can operate at 4 levels. Okay. At section level, act level, or another act, it can say notwithstanding. Finally, the highest level of notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force. That is the highest level notwithstanding. That section is superior to all laws. Simply, it is superior to the core. So this is what is notwithstanding anything contained. I hope you have understood what I have said. So that is how it is. Let us wind up. Thank you. Mr. Jha, you can leave. I am only answering for Rahul Shah's question. Topic over. You carry on with your Atiti Devo Bhava. Go on. I am also going to stop. Chalo, great, wonderful evening as usual. And I hope you are all able to understand it. Looking forward to interacting with you, inshallah, on 7th Tuesday evening. Bye. Class over, sir.